Welcome to another edition of Te Akau TV. I'm joined this morning by Te Akau trainer Jamie Richards. How are you this morning, Jamie?
Good, Hazy. Thank you.
Excellent. Bit of rain poking up around Auckland this morning, I see.
Yeah, little shower. I said I put some irrigation on it last night, so look, hopefully it's nice and sound after there's disasters that have been occurring.
Absolutely. But looking out the window today, it looks okay from what I can see. It's starting to clear up a little bit, and we are at 8:25 a.m. on Saturday morning. So there you go. And I guess the big news of the week, and a bit sad for most of us, Probabeel into retirement after sustaining a tendon injury after her run in the Jeffrey Bell main stakes over the weekend.
Yeah, obviously ran really well on Saturday, and she was good early in the week, but Wednesday morning just had a bit of heat and a bit of fill in her fetlock, and yeah, unfortunately she's got a bit of a lesion there in her suspensory ligament. So look, she's still sound and happy, but she's just going to need a period of box rest, and then obviously she'll be heading back to Cambridge Stud, to the Cracker Farm, I would dare say, and just sort of getting ready to be bred in the next breeding season. So she's been a wonderful advertisement for New Zealand racing, for Cambridge Stud, for Te Akau, for Waikato Stud, who bred her, and can't thank her enough for everything that she's done. She was a true champion.
Absolutely. And do you have a favourite race out of her 2 Karaka Million wins or 4 Group 1s over in Australia?
For me, probably the Surround Stakes was a really exciting win. She came from an impossible position, and it was also a day where Te Akau Shark won the Chipping Northern as well. So probably our best day on the racetrack, with 2 feature wins at Ramwick half an hour apart. So I think that, and obviously her Epsom win. There's a bit of skill, in getting horses into those sorts of handicap races with the right weight, and we're able to sort of get her there with minimal weight on her back, and she duly won. So yeah, she's been a fantastic mare, and certainly look forward to following her career, and hopefully training some of her offspring as well.
Absolutely, and I guess a couple of those ones you mentioned were against her old sparring partner Funstar, which she used to have a great battle with in a couple of those races as well. But obviously a big congratulations to Joe and Brenda and Lindsay and the rest of the Cambridge Stud team, and they're going to have a bit of fun with her. When I think they might be sending her to Al Manzori. He's probably a short price favourite for her to go to him. So there you go. When does she return home?
She'll come home in the next couple of weeks.
Cool. And I guess some moving along to some other big news. Mark Walker is now out of quarantine, so he'll be on your shoulder over the next couple of weeks in Matamata.
Yep. So Mark did his 7 days coming back from Singapore. Got out yesterday. I think he's headed off to the farm for a bit of a catch up there with Dave and Karen, and looking forward to him coming over to Matamata on Monday and sort of getting stuck into it. So yeah, we'll have a good month to 5 weeks together before head up to Hong Kong and make sure that we have a seamless transition. And obviously Mark's a wonderful trainer, and I'm sure that he'll be determined to keep the ball rolling, and certainly as we go into a bit of a quieter period, as we head into autumn and then into winter, Mark's got a really good opportunity to get to know the staff and get to know the horses and build for next season, which is really exciting.
Absolutely. So I guess a quick look at the results of last week. So obviously at Te Rapa, we had Lightning Field win, Maven Bell, who was tipped by yourself, and Self Obsession ran a great race in the David and Karen Ellis Classic, with On Trivier coming second, or just coming second up against Levante there as well. Do you want to touch on a couple of those runners quickly?
Yeah, Lightning Field's a bit of an enigma. He's always been a horse that's been able to gallop, but he's naughty in the barrier the start before last. And he just made a bit of a mistake there trying to get him out to 1400 and playing around with him, but he's a 1200 metre horse with a hood on, and he won well. He can win again if he gets the right conditions to suit. He loves a bit of soft ground. Maven Bell was great. She's a homebred filly, closely related to Levante, actually, who went out and beat On Trivier, and we had to take that on the chin. But 2 great mares. Self Obsession was fantastic, rolled along and stuck at it, so she'll be a big chance in the Oaks. And Yeah, we're sort of cracking on into this week as well. We haven't had the greatest of weeks, but hopefully that can change today.
Absolutely. Well, let's have a look at the races today. So obviously we've got the Avondale Guineas to cover off at Ellerslie, and then we'll jump over to the Hastings meeting tomorrow. So we're going to kick off at Ellerslie in race 1, the Thompson's Food Service 1100. It's a maiden 2-year-old race. You've got 2 runners listed. Are they both starting?
Yes, they will both start. Molly Shaw was supposed to go, did go to Taranaki yesterday. It obviously didn't run, but just thought this was a nice option. She travelled home well last night, licked the bowl clean, trotted up nice and sound this morning. So we're going to the races today. It's certainly not an ideal preparation with a few hours on the truck yesterday, but it's a nice opportunity for her to have a look around Ellerslie and hopefully a pretty open field. I'm sure that she'll sort of get back behind midfield a little bit and be finding the line. The only question mark there with her is she hasn't trialled right-handed, but she's done plenty of work in that direction at home. And our second runner is If I Get Paid, for the Boys Get Paid group with Opie to ride her, which I'm sure Kiwis and the team will be very happy about. She's drawn a nice barrier. She's coming off the back of a nice trial, and she has strengthened up since her first run where she finished 5th. So expect her to be a nice each-way chance.
Great. And moving now to race 2, the the Fleet Image 1200. It's a 3-year-old set weight and penalties. We've got Quattro Quinta, drawn barrier 11 with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, he's obviously a very good 2-year-old from last year that has just had a few little niggling things early in the season, and he's been in and out and had a bit of time, but he's been back and work a little while. He's had a trial. He's had 2 exhibition gallops. We've got him as forward as we can to, hopefully be competitive today. It's drawn a good quality field. Bonnie Lass, a lot of respect around her. Follow Your Dreams, Doubtful Sounds, an improving horse. First starters at Gelding and Baldara there for Cambridge Stud amongst the other ones. So really good quality race this. It's not going to be easy for him from the barrier, and he is fresh up off a long break. So certainly keep an eye on him, but possibly keep an eye on him for his next start as well.
Great. And race 4, the Welland Concreting Avondale Cup. It's over the 2,400 metres. We've got Tiakau Caliburn, drawn barrier 6, and he probably ran his best race for you in the City of Auckland Cup at Ellerslie over the same distance.
Yeah, he's a bit of a frustrating horse. He sort of fronts up and then he misses a few runs. But look, I was happy enough with him in the Taranaki Cup last week. He got checked at a vital time when trying to improve his position, and then finished off okay without ever threatening the leaders. But his run probably wasn't as bad as what it reads on paper. He's out to 1.5 miles. He's a European import, so he should be running out this sort of trip, very well. And at a long price, you could have a couple of dollars each way on him, but he ultimately has been disappointing. So really looking forward to hopefully seeing him step up today.
Great. And moving on to race 7, the Group 2 AJC Avondale Guineas, a great lead-up race into the Derby. It's for the 3-year-olds. Set weights over 2,100. We've got last start place getter and 1,000 guineas winner, the Perfect Pink, drawn barrier 1 with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, so really happy with her. She's had 2 runs back since Riccarton and ran with a lot of merit both times. First time she probably just peaked on her run a little bit and got beat by the second favourite there today, La Creek. And then last time at Te Rapa, she drew a bad gate, and we first run over ground. We just rode her a bit conservative, and they walked them in front, and she found the line really strongly. Best sectionals of the race. And it really was an eye-catching run. So happy with her. She's trained well between Waikato and Avondale Guineas. She's got a nice draw today. She's going to be able to take up a better position going past the winning post the first time. And I think she's primed and ready to run a really big race.
Great. And moving on to race 8, the Eco Chill 2,100, rating 65 benchmark. This is another horse that sounds like it's on a Derby path or in a Derby trial today in its own right. Amalfi Prince, drawn barrier 6 with Opie Boston on board.
Yeah, so we just thought we would stay away from the big guns at this stage, and it also gave us a chance for Opie to have a bit of a feel of him over ground. He won well at Hastings. He's trained well since then. He's been quite keen in his work, so the blinkers come off. First time up over ground. We'll just ride him sort of where he's happy. He won't be hustled or bustled out of the barrier. He'll just take a position where he's comfortable, put him to sleep, and give him every opportunity to run out the trip. But yeah, he's a nice progressive horse. We've got a lot of time for him. guess the only question mark in the back of our minds is it all happening a little bit soon for him. But we're going to find out today exactly where we're at and whether we're on a derby path or whether we need to look at something else.
Great. And that wraps up the runners at Ellerslie. Moving across to Hastings on Sunday. A few horses that were listed to line up at New Plymouth with no jockeys listed at this stage, so we'll pick them up as we go. But race one, the K9 Pet Foods Mile. It's a maiden 1,600 metre race. There's two horses listed without jockeys, the first of which is Fierce Flight and the second of which is La Flora Belle.
So First Flight, he was in the last race yesterday and he didn't get all the way to Taranaki. He was only on the track for probably three hours, I guess. Got halfway and sort of turned around and came home. So he's a chance to run down there tomorrow as long as we're happy with how he eats overnight tonight. And if he does run, either Sam Weatherly or Joe Cameroon will probably ride him. But he's in good shape. La Flora Belle, she got all the way down there yesterday, and like the others, she won't run tomorrow. She'll go to Pukekohe on Wednesday in a mile maiden and should run well.
Great. And race 3, the Nelson Goodley Memorial Mile, rating 65 benchmark. We've got No Senko, John Barrier 1 with Michael McNabb on board.
Yep, cleared maidens last time at this track, up to the mile from a good gate. Hopefully she should be a nice chance. She's trained well. Very few horses go straight out of maiden and win their 65, but we're trying to give her every possible chance doing that by targeting a meeting down the line on a Sunday, and it'll be certainly interesting to see how she goes. If she jumps away well, puts herself up in the race, it's got to be a decent each way chance.
Cool. And I take it a little bit bossy starts on Wednesday.
A little bit bossy will start on Wednesday. Yep, she did a little bit of work here this morning, and going all the way to Taranaki yesterday and all the way to Hastings tomorrow, we just don't feel it's the right thing to do. So let's give her a couple of days to get over that and look forward to her running on Wednesday, where she will be competitive.
Great. And race 6, the Wairoa Business Supporters 1200. It's a maiden race. We've got Flat Track Bully, John Barrier 13 with Sam Weatherly on board.
Yeah, I just would have loved to have seen him draw a little bit of a better barrier. He's a very difficult horse to ride. He pulls quite hard in the running, and if you take the blinkers off him, he doesn't try over hard. So he's had a few starts now. He's had 3 seconds. Going to need luck and running from the barrier, but he can get to the outside and finish off if the race is run at genuine tempo.
Great. And midnight special to Wednesday?
Yeah, we'll wait with her as well.
Cool. And race 7, the Bayford Sprint 1200, rating 65 benchmark. We've got Rip Van Gogh, the last start winner, John Barrier 10 with Sam Weatherly on board.
Yeah, again, much like Senko, very hard for a horse to win their maiden and then going through and win 65 straight away. So he's drawn an awkward barrier. He's on a nice roomy track. He'll be back probably. He too, like Flat Track Body, they're 4-year-olds that have had a bit of racing and taken a while to win one. So Opie's timed it up beautifully last time, went forward, sat outside the lead and controlled the race from there. It'll be just sort of how Sam sort of sees it, where the tempo in the race is. He can either sneak forward a little bit or go back and run home. So if he has a little bit of luck in running, got to be an each way chance.
And Pure Imagination, John Barrier 6 with Joe Cameroon on board.
Yep, happy with him. First preparation is gelding. Work's been spot on. Expect him to run really well.
Great. Well, that wraps up the runners for the weekend. Do we have a best bet after we got Maven Bell home last week?
Let's go big and bold. We'll say the Perfect Pink in the Avondale Guineas to hopefully cement her spot as favourite for the Derby in a fortnight.
Beautiful. And I guess a quick look ahead to next week. So we've got Matamata Slippers Day and Breeder Stakes Day on the home track. And I note there were a number of pretty top horses trialling at Te Rapa on Tuesday, including Imperatriz, I Choose You, Kabuji, Hanalei, Amaralina, and Brando. Can you give us a quick wrap-up of where those horses are heading next, and obviously with view to next week and the week thereafter?
Yeah, so the Matamata Breeder Stakes Day is always a big day for us. We love to target the meeting. We're going to have probably 3 or 4 in the Matamata Breeders, which will be I Choose You, Maven Bell, Hanalei, and possibly Skeworth. Unfortunately, Kabuki got a little bit of a temperature post his trial, so he's gone to the spelling paddock, so he won't have a runner in the Matamata Slipper, which is a shame because I think we've run it the last 3 or 4 years in a row. Imperatriz is going to run in the Lisa Chittick Plate for these Mares 1400, and then she's got 3 weeks to live in, which suits her. And the other 2 you spoke about, Amaralina and Brando, who trialled nicely, they'll go to Otaki next Saturday, the 26th, for the Wait for Age down there. and they're both going to present, really well. They'll be joined by Marcus Aurelius in the race as well.
Awesome. Well, there's a couple of horses there to keep an eye out over the next couple of weeks anyway. But thanks for your time this morning, Jamie, and we'll catch you next week, mate.
Thank you.